Hello and welcome to the implant log and charge documentation tips and tricks video. This video was designed with the understanding that the associate has a working knowledge of the implant log segment within the interop documentation. Upon completion of this course, you will be able to verbalize, demonstrate correct implant, explant, and pick list documentation. We will review and demonstrate implant, explant, and pick list documentation, and we will also review and demonstrate knowledge of the correct documentation and how it affects patient charges. After completing this video, you will demonstrate your knowledge by completing a quiz. You must obtain an 80% or greater to receive a passing score. During the video, a demonstration within one chart will be provided, followed by an overview summary. Let's get started. The first step to proper documentation of any implant is to appropriately search for the item. To search for the item to be documented within the interop doc, find the implant log segment. If this is your first time searching for an item, next to the description box, click the magnifying glass. The Find All Items box will open. In the Generals tab, ensure the following items: item number, description, short description, clinical description, and manufacturing catalog number are selected for best search results. Note, do not select location or class options. If these buttons are selected, it will limit the items you are able to search, resulting in unfound needed items. Next, in the search section, ensure it is set to the word includes. Once these steps are completed, this will be your default setting for future reference. Now you can search for your item directly on this page, or you can click the red X in the upper right-hand corner and return back to your implant log segment and search for the items. Search items by placing the cursor in the description section. The preferred way to search for an item is to utilize the reference or manufacturing number on the package of the item. In this example, we are entering a total joint component. Once you have input the number, hit the Enter key and the implant information should populate. Next, complete the rest of the implant details. Once the implant details are completed, click the Add button to complete the entry. If you are entering a manufacturing number or item description and you hit the Enter key and the manufacturing information does not auto-populate, you must then select the magnifying glass and search the item by description as demonstrated here. If the items populate in the lower panel, select the appropriate item and click OK. This will return you back to the implant log. If you search for an item and it is not found and you need to free text the item, you must include the manufacturing number and the item description so billing can manually add the appropriate charge. In this example, we entered a tibial bearing insert as a free text. Note, manufacturing number is added after the item description, followed by the completion of the implant details. Once the implant details have been completed, to complete the entry, click the Add button. For items entered via free text, place the label of the item in the basket for the inventory manager to enter into the database. Please work with your team leader to determine location of label drop-off within your department. Next, let's cover how to create subsequent implant entries. The example shown already has 2 entries. Let's also document cement. Enter the manufacturing number in the item description field. Complete the details of the item and click the Add button. When you are creating multiple entries, always start from scratch. Do not modify existing items and click Add to create an additional entry. If we were to start the next entry by modifying the first original entry as documented, you can see that the lot number did not update, nor did other implant details and usage data. When this shortcut is used, the system does not always recognize this workflow as a new entry, so the prompt to confirm the pick list update does not appear. This results in missed charges for multiple quantity items, thus severely impacting revenue. Additionally, there is a risk of carrying forward implant details that are not applicable to the subsequent entry. When documenting implants within the implant log segment of the interop doc, the implants will automatically cross to the pick list. Note, this function only works if the pick list update confirmation prompt is completed accurately. The pick list confirmation prompt should appear when you move forward to another segment within the interop doc. Any yellow boxes will need to be completed. Enter the fill location and confirm fill usage quantities, as the system will be looking for duplicates. Note, do not click the cancel or the X. If you do this, your implant will not be added to the pick list. When completed, you would click OK. If we toggle to the pick list, you can now see the implant information carried forward. Note, the pick list is what the system utilizes to automatically drop charges for supplies and implants. Best practice is to confirm your implant log matches the usage quantities in the implant folder of the pick list at the end of the case. Documenting multiple quantities. The preferred documentation of multiple quantities in the usage portion of the implant log segment, there is a quantities field for the item. Input how many of these items were used during the case. In the example, the cement on this total joint, we can update the segment quantity to 3 versus creating an additional entry for an additional usage. To do this, highlight the item, enter the quantity, and select the Modify button. Note, if you modify a quantity on an already existing entry, you will see additional lines on both the confirmation and the pick list for the additional usage. This is indicated by a red exclamation point next to the usage quantity segment on the pick list. The system is warning of possible duplications. If you need to document different details but on the same item number, you would then need to create an additional entry starting from scratch as stated earlier. For example, mesh could have the same item number but a different lot number or expiration date. When documenting explants or implants that were not retained, you will follow a very similar process as when documenting implants. These items should also be documented within the implant log. After selecting whether you are documenting an explant or not implanted item, add the description and the implant site. There will also be 3 fields within the usage data portion of the implant log that allow you to document additional details. Complete all that apply. When moving to the next segment, you will see the pick list confirmation prompt. Complete as previously shown. The link between the implant log to the pick list does not recognize the difference between implant versus explant. For explanted items, we do not want to drop a charge, so we must update the item quantity in the used quantity section to 0. And the wasted quantity to the number wasted, followed by documenting a reason from the drop-down list. Let's summarize the key points we have just discussed. First, let's review best practice on how to search or free text items. Search for items using the manufacturing number or item description. If the item is not found, free text the item. When free texting an item, include manufacturing number and item description. This assists billing to ensure correct item charging. For best search results, have item and manufacturing number in all the description search boxes checked. In the Search For field, set this to include versus begins with. Do not check location or class. These checkboxes will remain checked for future searching once selected. For items entered via free text, place the label of the item in the basket for the inventory manager. Multiple implant entries. Best practice. When creating multiple implant entries, start from scratch. Do not modify existing items and click the Add to create an additional entry. Why? This workflow has demonstrated missed charges for multiple quantity items, thus severely impacting revenue. It also runs the risk of carrying forward implanted details that are not applicable to the subsequent entry. Multiple quantities. When documenting quantities greater than one, update the quantity field versus creating an additional entry. Note, if you modify a quantity on an already existing entry, you will see additional lines on both the confirmation and pick list for the additional usage. This is indicated by a red explanation next to the usage segment on the pick list. The system is warning of possible duplicates. If documenting different details but on the same item number, create an additional entry starting from scratch. Pick list confirmation prompt. When documenting implants within the implant log segment of the interop doc, the implants will automatically cross to the pick list. This function only works if the pick list update confirmation prompt is completed accurately. Pick list confirmation prompts should appear when you move forward to another segment. Any yellow boxes will need to be completed. Do not click the cancel or the X. If this action is performed, the implant will not be added to the pick list. Confirm fill usage quantities on this screen as the system will be looking for duplicates. Explant documentation. Documenting explants or not implanted items within the implant log. Pick the appropriate category. Complete the description and site along with explant not retained details. For explant not implanted items, we do not want to charge the patient for the implant. The link to the pick list does not recognize the difference, so you will need to update the pick list used quantity to 0 and the wasted quantity as indicated, and document wastage reason when prompted. This concludes our video. Thank you.